Hey there, you guys. Welcome back. Today we'll do the front yard tour. It's early morning. Sun just came up. It's really sticky outside. Holy crap, it's sticky. It's so humid. The windows this morning were all fogged up. It was crazy. So it's very very humid. Anyway, let's get to it. What day is it today? August 26th. I'm on my way to work and thought I'd give this little tour before I got in my car. And yeah, let's try to make it a little bit quick. Try to go in early, get some overtime, pay the bills. It's all about the bills these days because everything's so expensive. Anyway, behind me you can see this is, I thought it was a spineless agave, and I think it is a spineless agave because it doesn't have any spines along the edge of the leaf. But it does have a spike on the tip of the leaf, but you could just cut those off. But I just got a new one, this little guy down here, and I believe that is the actual spineless agave. What is it? Agave ATT, oh, I can't remember this little Latin name, but it goes by foxtail lily, and I think it's a pinstripe one. We'll do a video on that one specifically another time, but yeah, that's a new one to the collection. Look at the Mangave Lavender Lady. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. And then down here we have the Praying Hands Mangave. It's growing, but it's still rather tiny. I can't wait for it to actually look like a loose artichoke flower. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's wander about the yard, see what's new, what's happening. And I can't forget to show you the little sunflower garden. It's stunted, but it's adorable. They're starting to flower. So anyway, let's get to it. So let's do a pan around of the yard. This Alocasia Frydek is not doing so good. Wow, that went out of focus when my finger went in there. It has spider mites like crazy. I need to, this weekend, cut all the leaves back. It hasn't done well. I think it needs to get repotted. It's really dense in that pot, and I haven't repotted it in a couple of years. So I think that I need to give it some fresh soil as well. Look at this Japanese maple. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a Japanese maple. It's gotten so big this season, and it's starting to, you can kind of see through it now. It's got this aura of crazy branches. So next year, where it's very dense in the center, I want to work on trying to trim that out a wee bit to give it a little bit of visual lightness, I guess is the word. I trimmed it up this spring, and you'd never know, but you can see the Japanese forest grass there at the bottom a little bit better. And I have this hibiscus, the pink hibiscus, that needs to get taken out of there. It grew from seed, and I wanted to see if it came true, and it did. But now I'm just trying to find somebody to take it. I'm trying to give it to neighbors. I had one that I gave to a neighbor, yeah. Anyway, the quest continues. I will tear it out of this garden, though, maybe move it to the back for a while. And then look at this beautiful sedum. This one is sedum, I believe it's called Atlantis. And look at the beautiful contrast. Oh, the leaves there are so beautiful. And the flowers are interesting, but they kind of disappear. And I don't mind that because the focal point are the leaves. But the flowers just brighten it up a bit. What else is new here? Nothing really is going on. The what is it? Tricolor sage or the variegated sage is doing beautifully. I love the colors there. Oh, look at that. And then over here, the little cactus. It did not flower this year, but hopefully next year it's starting to produce some babies. I might take some of the babies off and put them on the soil surface before it gets too cold to maybe propagate it a little bit. The sedum is getting ready to bloom. They're looking like broccolis. And this geranium, oh, it's so beautiful. I love the contrasting colors. I love the variegations. It's just such a pretty pot. It finally is starting to fill in, looking really, really nice. What else is going on here? Not too much. The dogwood is looking nice. It's finally starting to look like a tree again after we had to hack it back because of winter dieback a few years ago. But it's starting to come into its own, which is fantastic. We've got the turtle heads are turtling. It's so nice to see. And then we've got the tomato plants. I need to take some tomatoes off. and I've got, what are these? The, they were supposed to grow in this void here, but they're growing in amongst the tomatoes. Of course they are. But I planted them down at the base here of the fence, and they're just finding their own way. What is it? Starts with a C. I want to say cardinal vine. It's not cardinal vine, it's cypress vine. And you can see the really cool leaves right there amongst the tomato leaves. And we've got some flowers, we've got some pink, and we've got some white back there. And as we pan back, the morning glories have seen better days, but I think I need to water. They look really, really flimsy. They don't feel flimsy, but they look flimsy. I did not plant these. These grew from seed, and other days they're just magnificent, but today it's lacking a little bit. Then we've got the salvia down below. This is one that kept breaking, and it doesn't look so great. But maybe I'll come and I'll trim off some of the dead flower spikes, and it might make it look a little nicer, clean it up a bit. But yeah, when I actually plant the morning glories, they don't do well. When I actually planted them, I got all kinds of leaves, but no flowers. Well, very few flowers, and those self-seeded, and ever since, I've been getting not as many leaves, but a lot of flowers. So I prefer that combination. So let's look at this other garden in the front. Okay, so this garden here is mostly hibiscus, as you can see. So it's the same one that's self-seeded in the very front garden, but obviously that one's not in bloom yet. I don't know why it's a little bit later, but look at the size of these blooms. Let me get my hand in here. These blooms are really good size. They're probably at least 8 or 10 inches across, and the plant is just loaded, lots of buds coming in, and it's massive. This garden is not tiny, it's not big, but it's not tiny, and it takes up more than half of this garden. Is there anything else that's of note in this garden? I'm not sure that there is. The lavender is doing well under the tree. My shadow's in the way, as always. The variegation seems to be lacking right now. This one's called Platinum Blonde. The flowers are finished, but there we go. It survived. The one in the backyard did not survive. The zinnias are not looking so great in this garden because the tree takes up all the moisture. So noted for next year, I'm just going to plant some rock garden plants. That being said, this sedum is not doing very good, and I would expect it to do a little bit better. The other sedums are doing lovely. This one's looking pretty nice. I like the shape of the leaves. And then this hens and chicks is not doing so bad. I think I need to give it a little bit of water. Who knew? And then this sedum seboldii that's not variegated, looking really nice. And then the other hens and chicks, this one is a purple one. Not looking so purple. I think we'll get the crazy colors in the spring. And then the iris, oh, what is that one? Pink Parfait, I think it's called. And then the other sedum variegated is looking not so bad. I don't really like the flowers on this. I might actually cut them off because I think it takes away from the plant. I forget what this one's called. Sun Sparkler Dream Dazzler, I believe it's called. And the Stokes Aster has gone to seed for the season, but the seed pods are really, really interesting in themselves. They kind of, I don't know what they look like. I guess mini artichokes. They're very, very interesting looking. I did cut some off, and it didn't rebloom, so next year I'm just going to let them do their thing and not even cut it back, because I really like the look of all of the seed pods. And maybe I'll get some growing from seed. So let's go over and check out the sunflowers. Okay, so in the field here, I did amend the soil a wee bit last year, but I didn't do anything this year. I put some manure in here last year. It's mostly a sandy soil that's in this pile. Some people dumped this soil here last year, or when we moved in, when they were doing landscaping and whatever, and I just took it over. But it's mostly sand and it dries out so fast. So these guys are all stunted. For example, these ones here at the front were supposed to be 4 to 6 feet tall. The ones in the middle, I believe the colored ones, are supposed to be around 6 feet tall. And then the ones in the back are supposed to be the mammoth sunflowers, and they're supposed to be like 8 to 12 feet tall, I think. And they're definitely not that. I think the ones in the front, the tallest one here that's in flower is maybe 3 feet tall. So When we did get some rain, they shot up, but we went a long time this summer without any rain, and I refused to water it because they could come and rip this out anytime. So I planted them there just for fun, to see what would happen, and they're doing beautifully. I like them. They're a little stunted, like I said, but they're so pretty. And who doesn't want a little sunflower garden by their yard? And we can look out the window for the staircase when we go up to bed. Look out, and it's so bright. Even in the morning, if the sun's up, it's so nice to look out at the sunflowers. So then we've got the squash and the cucumbers. As you can see, the cucumbers did not do so well. The reason why I left those on is because they're supposed to be pickling cucumbers, but I only got a few, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to pickle 5 cucumbers. So I just left them on there, and I had no idea that cucumbers went orange. So I might harvest some seeds. I don't know. I didn't harvest them to eat as just cucumbers because I figured they probably wouldn't be great for eating. Their purpose is pickling, so I'm sure they're flavorless or a little bit bitter. I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyway, that was the cucumber go through. We've got some plumerias here. These are the seedlings that aren't so seedling anymore. One's growing through the fence. But yeah, nothing noteworthy in there. There's no inflows that I've noticed, so yeah, nothing really to report. And then this one here, this squash plant, this is the autumn frost squash, and I've got all kinds of squashes growing here. Here's one. Look at the fun look to it. It looks like it's frosted. They're almost ripe, some of them. Here's another one growing here. It's just tiny. It's getting late in the season. What is it? I said it was August 26th. So in another month or so, they're gonna get harvested. So it won't be long. I can't wait to see what's growing in here. They've done really well. Here's another one here. And this vine has just gone crazy. I wish that it would grow up the fence more, but it really wanted to run along the ground. Let's look over here, over the fence. You can see all of the vines in here. It makes it really hard for me to get in there and tend things, but because I don't want to step on any of the vines. But the powdery mildew has come in with force, and it won't be long until the plants have died back. And then once that happens, I will replant my garlic that I harvested. And yeah, over here, let's turn the camera around. Over here we have the tomato plants with lots of tomatoes. This one that you can see is Roma tomatoes. And then behind it, I can't remember what types they are, but they're just a bigger, more of a slicing tomato. And then over here we have the black-eyed Susan vine that looks like it needs a drink. But it finally started to grow up the trellis. Took it long enough. The poor things got wind whipped, and oh, it was such a sad experience. I had to replant them twice, but finally we're starting to get some flowers on it. This spring was a tough spring for them. So let's go and check out the median garden between the houses. Before we get to the median garden, let's check out this monstera. Oh, it's so beautiful. This leaf here is about 18 inches across. It's looking so nice. And then under, you can't barely see it, but I have the bird's nest fern resting under there. This is southern exposure, but we've got such a deep porch that it gets really nice light. It really likes it there. Soon I'm going to be bringing it inside when the weather gets a little bit cooler, but it had thrips in the house and it was just awful. So it's really enjoying its time out here, and it's thrip free. The damages on the leaves are from it hitting the brick as it was unfurling from the wind, but that's all right. I like a little bit of war wounds on the plants. Gives them some life. Then we've got the carnivorous plants that I divided off, the Sarracenias. And then over here we've got the banana tree in the pot. It's looking so good. I don't know why this one isn't all wind whipped, because all the other ones are wind whipped. But look at, I think it's because it's growing in the pot. I don't know, it might, I don't know. I probably need to water it. The base plants down here are really showing signs of needing a drink. The calibrachoas are so beautiful. The variegated poinsettia and the Tradescantia Nanook, I believe. I don't like how the Nanook has got the discolorations, but that's what you get when you get lighter color variegation and a lot of light. They burn easily. So let's go over here. Oh, the vinca vine has grown crazy in these pots. I don't hate it. The only thing that I do dislike is that it's growing out of the the inside of the boxwood. I could trim them out, but it is what it is. I've been really lazy this year when it comes to that sort of stuff. So here is the median garden that has gone crazy, and I don't hate it. It's like a painting. It's so beautiful, but chaotic. I don't know that the neighbor likes it so much. She likes her space between plants. I'm doing hand motion, space between plants, but you can't see. Where she likes to see some soil. You can tell by her garden preference over there. Hi, Patrice. Hopefully you don't mind me showing your garden on the video. Anyway, the elephant ears are doing really, really well. It's the first year I planted this one in the ground. This is the Colocasia fontanensis, and I love the leaves on this one. They feel like rubber. They're so thick and just rubbery, for lack of better words. These ones, unlike others, some are just clumpers. This one likes to run. Do you see the runner there, the rhizome that's zipping across? They look like worms or snakes. They're really interesting when you grow them in the pot because they escape the pot and dangle over. So I'm interested to see how far they actually start growing babies when they're in the ground. And I've got all kinds of zinnias. They're looking so nice. When I bought these zinnias, I thought that they were all going to be the 12-inch tall ones, the profusions, but there was a pack of the big guys, and I don't really like it, but I like them for cutting, but I wish they were all smaller. I wish they were all this size, because it takes over the echinacea that's in here. The bandwidth grass is looking so nice this year, and the ageratum border is looking so good. One thing that I'm disappointed with, and I said it in the backyard tour, are these salvias that are, I love the color of the leaves, but they're supposed to have red flowers, but none of them have flowered. Here's another one. Maybe they'll flower soon, I don't know. But salvia, you think blooms, and these don't have blooms. But again, the foliage color is really cool. I enjoy that a lot, but it's a little disappointing that you're not getting at least a few blooms. And another bandwidth grass. And more of the zinnias. These ones have more of the tall ones here. They're such good cut flowers. Oh, I love bringing them inside to the kitchen. And then this one is the Colocasia fontanensis. Need to get in there and weed some of the grasses. And look at this runner here. It's starting to produce a leaf here. It's running all the way to the plant. So very exciting to see. I love that plant. It's such a cool one. I think I'm going to keep most of my colocasias. I'm going to get rid of many of my alocasias, the outside big guys. The small indoor ones will stay, obviously, but I don't have the space to keep them over winter, and they're a pain in the butt when it comes to spider mites. So, and also I want to have more stuff that grows nicely over the winter time. Sorry, not over the winter time. All year round in the garden. I want more interest. I hate in the spring when there's so much dead space, and then I have to wait until June before I plant them, and then it takes until August before things start to look nice. And this year, it really is lacking. Let's go and check out the last part, the garden over by the air conditioner. So I love this view. That's the Robinia twisty baby, or the black locust twisty baby over the fence, and it looks so beautiful. Check out the backyard tour to see what that guy looks like. Oh, it's so cool. I love the weird shapes of the branches. Anyway, down here to the air conditioner garden, nothing really fantastic is happening here. The begonias are looking not so bad. This one is Pegasus or Griffin. I love this plant. Oh, it's such a beautiful begonia. It's finally starting to come into its own again. For a while I was questioning whether it was going to survive. It had leaves and it was doing okay, but it was very spindly. But it's really starting to grow beautifully again. I'm going to be putting this in a clay pot over winter, and I'm going to be putting it maybe in the regular part of the house because I want to enjoy it over winter. I think that this one does not require as much humidity as, say, a Rex begonia. It always does so well in the house, and it dries out so fast. So I might put it somewhere where I see it and enjoy it. So, and I thought that many of these were dead, because maybe in the last video you notice that these things were not, they didn't have any leaves on them, and they were just the crispy rhizomes, as you can see here to the side, right here. They were just the crispy rhizomes, and I thought that they weren't going to make it. So these are the Fireworks Rex begonias, and they're one of my favorites, and I took cuttings and whatever, and I thought that these ones weren't going to survive, but they did. I'm so happy about that, and I'm really happy about this one. I thought that this one was a goner as well. This one has beautiful purpley silver leaves. Oh, I love it. Let's get a little closer. The leaf is very small right now. I'm going to baby that one over the winter. I'm going to take some leaf cuttings so I have some more of them. I think that it's just such a really cool plant to brighten up a spot, and I love when you look at it a certain way, there's that purple shimmer to the silver. It's really gorgeous. And then we've got the bigger firework here. Let's move this epimedium out of the way. Oh, look at those leaves. Oh, they're so beautiful. You can't go wrong with a nice Rex begonia. And then we've got the regular non-stop begonia in here with the little hosta. This garden needs a little bit of tending, just more thought into it. It's just a grouping of plants that I've planted. There's not really a rhyme or reason to anything. It just, I think because it's a really shaded location most of the day, and there's all these air vents that you can't cover with the furnace and all of the utilities and whatnot, and the dryer vent. So it's a little bit harder. In the wintertime, with all of that heat that comes out of the side of the house, any shrubs would get dead spots because it would come out of dormancy and then freeze, and then, yeah. And then we've got the Begonia maculata here, finally starting to put on some nice growth. Got more hostas here. I got to move these around at some point. I don't like that the whiskey sour and the appletini are crushed up against one another. I like to see them just doing their own thing. And yeah, that concludes this tour. So I hope you enjoyed this tour. I'm sure it's going to feel like tomorrow that I have to start filming the September garden tour. But hopefully there's lots of updates for that one as well. I'm so pleased with how things have come through August. We finally got the heat. We finally got the humidity that the plants really love. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, happy gardening, happy growing.